My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today we're going to dig into a topic around passion and purpose. And you may be like, man, how does this really relate to health and wellness? And I'm going to tell you this is literally everything. You know, you could really chalk this topic up around goals and what you desire and want in your life. And for so many women, they think that it's just about weight loss. It's just about seeing a certain number on the scale. And here's what I'm going to tell you, that yes, of course, we desire to be healthy, to take care of ourselves. If you're listening to this podcast or following me for long enough, yes, we do need to have a certain level of health. And I will challenge women all day long what that actually looks like. I've had so many conversations around, what the number on the scale should be. And it's always interesting to me, like we always will say this safe number. And it's fair. It's fair because right now that number seems so far away that we haven't been able to hit it. So of course we're going to say this safe number, but I'm always going to challenge a woman that, hey, like, cool, let's hit that and let's keep going. And so again, you're probably like, man, how does this tie in to passion and purpose? And where I want to go with this podcast here today is, okay, if you're on a weight loss journey or you desire better health, what is the underlying reasons? Why does it matter? And you may be sitting there saying, man, I don't know why it matters. And so I want to bring this message to you here today because we need to understand what's really driving us, what's motivating us, what's pushing us forward every single day, because this is going to be like your North Star. When you feel like, shit's hitting the fan, nothing's going right, and you're frustrated because the scale won't move, you have this guiding light that keeps you focused, that keeps you going forward. Because the worst thing that I see in this whole, journey of health and wellness is we keep hitting roadblocks. We keep, hitting a struggle, and it derails us so much that we have to start over day after day after day. For some women, it's literally every single Monday. Every single Monday, they're starting over, or they feel like they can't come up for air because you keep having a challenge at work, a challenge with kiddos, a challenge. And here's the deal. I feel this too. So I can only speak, and you guys have heard me say this before, but I can only speak on these topics because I have personally experienced these things. So every time you think, oh my God, Arin's in my head, just for real, I'm human too. And I experience these things, but I also overcome. And that's where I want to really teach, guide, uplift, and share with you, hey, it's okay to have struggle. It's okay to have challenges, but it's really not okay when it's literally every single week, when it's literally every single, moment of your life. And here I could share with you, I've been very, very challenged this week that I'm recording this podcast. Not only did we get through just crazy sickness with our daughter, which ended up going into pneumonia. We were like seconds from being told we need to take her to ER, to then my son goes down with, pneumonia again. And it's been really rampant, which is kind of interesting with all these kids. And I mean, I have never seen my child spike a fever almost 105. And I was like, when do you go to ER? Googling that, right? And so anyways, thankfully, I think he's turning corners here today. And oh man, I don't think anything rocks you more than your own kiddo being sick or a loved one being sick, a family member in the hospital or not doing well, got a scary diagnosis. And, I also can appreciate too, in the time in which I'm recording this message, there is a ton of uncertainty. There's a ton of just craziness going in our world. We're in a heavy political environment. We have probably the most important election that will ever happen in our lifetime. It's been a tough season. So I've been reading a book right now and just talking about how we've been in winter. And it's a very, very interesting book because it was actually written in 1997. And I haven't gotten very far into the book, but it's very interesting how long we have actually been in this season of destruction. So the book was written in 1997. It's very, very interesting to read back what was going on. And actually one of the authors who is still living, the other one is deceased, he redid the preface and he shared what's going on in 2024 and how they predicted all these things. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And so I don't know if this book is a good read or a bad read, but it's been a very interesting read because it really, not that I'm looking for validation, but it truly shares like all the turbulence and things that are going on in our lives and how we've been navigating them. And, I think even as a kid, so I was, a kid in 1997, you just didn't realize the things that were actually going on. And, I do remember, the different wars and things that were going on, but I didn't, right? I was a kid. I was very naive to the fact. And so I think as an adult, you kind of stand a little bit differently, especially having kids too. You look and view things totally different. Also, we've had multiple hurricanes and really devastating weather. And you kind of sit back and you go, is this random? Like, is this possible? What's really going on? And so I bring all these things up because I think it's fair for a lot of us to feel this unsettling, this unnerving feeling. And I first off just want to share that I feel it too. The most important thing we can do is we have to truly, truly keep ourselves grounded. We have to keep ourselves in alignment towards the things that we want. And that's easier said than done. And this is where my message really comes into play today is, why on earth are we here? Do you know what your purpose is? Do you know what your passions are? Do you know what you're contributing to this world? These are questions that can absolutely shake you or can absolutely yes, Arin, I got it. I understand why I'm here, what I'm doing, and you are living out this purpose all day, every day. If you're not feeling that way, I want you to know that that is extremely normal. It's extremely normal to not know, to wake up every single day, go through the motions, and live your life, because that's what 90% of the world does, is they wake up every single day, they do the things that they have to do because this is what we do. This is our life. This is the cards we've been dealt or drawn or whatever you want to say. And I'm here to kind of shake that. I'm here to say, hey, if you've been waking up doing the same damn thing every single day and you're not completely have a fire in your belly, can't wait to run out the door to, do the job that you have been called to do, then we got to shake the trees. We got to do something that's going to, wake things up a bit and really light that fire into you. Because again, you may be saying man, what does this have to do with health, wellness? It has everything. Because why would you be motivated to eat differently? Why would you be motivated to work out? Why would you be motivated to take care of your body, to present yourself in a different way? See, so many times we get so stuck in our marriage, so stuck in our job, so stuck in the day-to-day that we kind of forget to look around and enjoy life and enjoy the things that are around us. So where I want to take this conversation is you've got to know what it is that you want in life. What are these goals? What are these dreams and ambitions and things that are really, really, truly motivating you that you're like, man, I don't know if I can do this, but this would be really, really cool. And there's a whole set of how I coach someone through goal setting. I've got a few of my clients right now that we're digging really, really deep into the goals that they desire and the feelings that they feel. Okay. And you may be like, why is that important? Well, it's important because those feelings will absolutely prevent us or motivate us. So they will prevent us from ever hitting anything because we don't feel worthy. We have self-doubt. We don't know the how, right? And here's something that was really awesome for me is when I've written goals, it's like, oh my God, this scares the living you know what out of me. And then I would go and hit them. And then all of a sudden what was so scary was like, oh, that's not so bad. That wasn't so hard. Or yeah, whatever. It took some effort, but we did it. That was pretty cool. And I never really questioned goals until really this season of my own life. And I'm like, man, what happened? Well, I think honestly, in your 20s and 30s, you're a little naive, right? Like you're a little, it was just my husband and I, and, if we failed, so what? Like we figure it out. And I think now you get a little more pressure. You have, multiple mortgages, you have multiple businesses, you have kids, you have, all the things. And so you look at things a little bit differently, like risk versus reward. Well, how much time is that going to take? And here's what I want to tell you. When you're thinking about your goals, you absolutely never worry about the how. You do not need to know how you're going to achieve that goal, but you need to put the goal down because that's what you actually want. Okay? So nobody needs to know how, but they just need to know the what. Then what happens is we get to work. We put our head down, we stay focused, and this is where the passion and purpose come into play. Are you living every single day knowing you made an impact, knowing that you have changed someone's life, knowing that in your sliver of the world, you have brought goodness and joy and something that is better? Or were you moaning and whining and complaining and frustrated and, this won't go right. This won't go right. Or, oh my God, this sucks. That sucks. Right? Okay. Like you can feel the difference in that energy. And even me saying it, I'm like, okay, cut it out, dude. But if you're always whining and moaning, if you're always having problems, now this doesn't mean you don't have stuff. And I hope I always make this clear that, I don't just sit over here, everything's perfect, everything's wonderful, but I do sit over here and have challenges. And I do have things that I work through on a daily basis, but I don't sit around and whine and moan and, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this, because that's not who I am. I am probably an eternal optimist to like too many degrees, but on the flip side, that has pretty much served me my whole life. And so you are always trying to figure out the solution, but you always want to stay in the positive. Like, okay, as long as we're working towards our mission, so what if a marketing thing fails? So what if, you didn't do what you needed to do from like, did it move the needle forward? That's the bigger question. Because so many times I'll be coaching a client and maybe the week didn't turn out the way we thought it was going to. You've done all the things right. You've done all the things that you can do. And then that daggum scale doesn't move. And here's the thing that I'm going to tell you is like, give it a couple more days. It will move. It's just interesting how everybody's body's a little bit different. And like the second you want to get pissed off and mad and then like go eat something that doesn't serve you, literally that scale will move. So this is where we want to understand what it is that we want in life, why we want the things that we want. We don't have to worry about the how, but we have to come back to what's ultimately driving us. What are you passionate about? What is really firing you up every single day? Do you know? Now, for some of you, you may be like, hey girl, like that day and time is past. And I'm here to tell you, like, listen, you have so much more impact than you realize. Take what you're doing currently today and ask yourself, is this really living out my passion, my purpose, my calling? If you're questioning it, I'm going to tell you that's a big old no. But what's cool is all the experiences and things that you've done have got you where you've gotten today, and keep rolling with them. I never think our work is done. I believe we're always going to be driving towards something, and it's a good thing. You want to continue to evolve as a person. We don't just like, 65, now it's time to retire and kick it back. You know, what I have witnessed, and this is just with my own personal family, is I have witnessed a lack of purpose with a lack of drive, which is leading to a lack of quality of life. And it's probably been one of the hardest things to watch, because you just thought that, I honestly expected my parents to, start a business in the islands. My dad was going to be a dive master, and he was going to run a boat, and my mom would run the office, right? And I genuinely, from a kid, thought that's what my parents were going to do. And unfortunately, somewhere along the line, they just lost that drive, that purpose, that passion. And, this is from my perspective. My parents would probably be like, dude, you're crazy. Why are you even talking about me on your podcast? And, I have the utmost love and respect, but even I can kind of step back and say, dang, guys, this isn't what you signed up for. Not at all. And this is why I'm so adamant about getting this message out. Sorry, I'm getting choked up, but I'm so adamant about getting this message out, because it's never too late. It's never too late to understand what you've really been called to do, what passion and purpose you have for this world. And if you don't know yet, it's all good. Start asking yourself questions about what excites me? What do I get really pumped up about? Maybe you get really excited about organization. Maybe you get really excited about cooking. Maybe you get really excited about, making people smile, right? I was out at this conference, and I'm laughing because it caught me off guard, and I hate that it caught me off guard, but I had a lady give me what I thought was her business card, and I was getting ready to give her my business card, because that's pretty normal when you meet someone new. And the card that she gave me was almost, how do I describe it? Like 1970s kind of pictures, but brought to today. And all it said was, have a nice day. It just said, have a nice day. And I was like, I thought you were giving me your business card. She goes, this is my business card. Have a nice day. I want you to smile. And I was like, okay. And I don't know why it caught me so off guard, but all she wants to do is just spread happiness. She just wants people to be happy. And this is her way of doing it. And I was like, right on, lady. This is cool. And so where that caught me off guard, because I was expecting to just have her contact information, her name, etc. But instead, I'm going to remember her 10,000 times more, because her card was totally different. And what's cool about this day and age that we live in is you can just instantly connect with someone on social media and blah, da, 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 da. There you go. So why not stick out? It's enough that I shared with you on this podcast here today. So I want you to really dig deeper into what is this true calling, this passion, this purpose, what gives you meaning to your life. And before you sit here down in the dumps and say, God, I don't know, I have nothing. You don't have nothing, okay? You wouldn't have gotten this far if you had nothing. But I guarantee no one's ever shook you. No one's ever said, hey, wake up. No one's ever said, hey, you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again if it's not serving you. Okay. I remember very distinctly when I was getting one of my very, very first jobs. And it was with a very big brand that my parents were like, this is it. This is the job for the next 30 years, the 401k, the, stock options, the this, that, the other. And I was like, no, like that's not going to work. And I forget how long I even lasted in that job, but I was like, oh, hell to the no. Like this is not going to work. And I remember crying, going into that office going, this is not what I signed up for. But again, I appreciated it for the time and space that helped me have the income to then create the business that I truly desired to create. So I want you to marinate on this for a little bit this week. I want you to really ask yourself, okay, great. I have this health and wellness goal, but what is really driving this? What is the passion and purpose behind who I am as a person? Does it line up? Am I congruent with the things that I want? And here's the thing that I want. If you are struggling with this, if you are struggling with understanding why you want what you want, if you're struggling with why it matters between your health and your purpose, this is something where you need to enlist the help of a coach. I can help you work through these really big conversations that truly are everything. So what I want you to do is, if you haven't already, join my private Facebook group called Infinite Women. This is weight loss and confidence for professional women. And I want you to reach out to me. You can reach me on any social media platform. All you got to do is just send me a message and let's connect. Let's have a deeper conversation about where you feel you're struggling and let's help you overcome that. When you get through a health and wellness journey and you can just live life with passion and meaning and purpose, it's a game changer. And can you imagine if everybody did this? This world would totally look different. We wouldn't have so much hate. We wouldn't have so much frustration. We wouldn't be giving off the vibe that we're giving right now. And I eternally believe that it can change every single day. Go get them.